for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at pizzaranch.com.
No one has a handbook for what we're living through today, which is why the experience you have access to makes all the difference in how you make it to tomorrow. For decades, Dakota Bank has worked with ag producers through industry, economic, and regional changes. We're committed to agriculture. We're committed to the producers and families that make our communities great. Go with commitment, experience, and integrity. Dakota Bank, banking, insurance, mortgage, and trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and trust not FDIC insured.
Are you ready for new windows? Renewal by Anderson's windows are the best you can get, and their awesome Black Friday event is backed by popular demand. This is an incredible offer, and you don't have to get up early or stand in line. You don't even have to wait until Black Friday. You can book your estimate right now. Listen to this. Renewal by Anderson is giving 20% off every window, and depending on how many windows you get, you'll receive a Visa gift card for up to $1,500. Imagine getting awesome new Renewal by Anderson windows and a lot of spending cash for Christmas. It's fantastic. The financing offer is so great. No money down. No interest or payments for 18 months. Think about that. You get your new windows now, and you don't even have to make a payment until 2024. Wow. It's a very limited time offer, though. It starts on Black Friday, November 25th. It runs through December 9th. Please do not wait to book your free estimate right now. Just go to RBARapidCity.com. That's RBARapidCity.com to set up your free estimate. Renewal by Anderson. Make a great investment this Black Friday.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson was limited in practice today due to a toe injury. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, who missed last week's game against Arizona because he was in concussion protocol, was a full participant in today's practice, putting him on track to start Sunday against the Saints. The Rams have also officially placed wide receiver Cooper Kupp on the injured reserve. Saints head coach Dennis Allen told reporters that they will be sticking with quarterback Andy Dalton for their matchup against the Rams on Sunday. Commanders coach Ron Rivera announced that quarterback Taylor Heineke will start Sunday against the Texans, and Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill has now been taken off the injury report following 2 full days of participation at practice. Head coach Cliff Kingsbury says that quarterback Kyler Murray is day-to-day as he continues to deal with his hamstring injury. He said that he is progressing well, but wouldn't say if he would be ready for Week 11. I'm Monsi Bolaños.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in, everybody. How you doing? It's always a great day in the Black Hills. Welcome back. On a Wednesday, the Nate Brown Show, live South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad to have you on board. Hope you're having a solid day. Let's have at it here a little bit. Put some preparation into this puppy today, all right? Every day, man, we got to get you some new content, some thought-provoking sports talk. Let's have a little fun, some new information. Thanks for tuning in. The Nate Brown Show brought to you in part by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. Since 1976, they've been here taking care of the weekend warrior to the elite athlete on the field and court right now. Black Hills Ortho, better access, more options. When it comes to urgent care, they also have that. Injuries happen when you least expect them. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, your choice for the expert orthopedic care, helping you stay in the game. Learn more at bhosc.com. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center getting us started on a Wednesday. Let's look at the guest lineup. Let's get some questions of the day thrown out. And let's see where you're at today. Some great guests across the board. John Bryce coming in, national college football writer. Pretty big news in college sports that's not being hit on that much. There's a big vote happening tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to get out in front of it today. I think it's a big story. Not a lot of people are hitting on it. We'll get to it. John Bryce, college football writer. It's kind of like the whole landscape of this college football realignment, where teams and universities are going to be. And there's a big vote tomorrow under the radar. Footballscoop.com national writer John Bryce will hit on that. Frank Schwab on tonight, national NFL writer for Yahoo Sports. Russell Wilson had a press conference today. What did Russell Wilson say about his play today? You haven't heard much from Russ. I mean, Russ goes above, he always goes above the fray, okay, so to speak. He doesn't, you're never going to hear him throw anybody under the bus and the whole thing. What did Russell Wilson have to say about his season so far? That was on record today. We'll talk to Frank Schwab, Yahoo Sports NFL writer, on the way. Lynn Worthy is in tonight for the first time in a long time. He covers the Kansas City Royals. Why would we talk Kansas City Royals on the Nate Brown Show today? Well, this is pretty big, and maybe some of you have been there. Kauffman Stadiums, one of the landmarks, right, in KC. Kauffman Stadium, the waterfall, there's been a ton of games there. Kauffman Stadium might be no more. The Kansas City Royals, are they going to get a new stadium? There's a discussion being had right now in KC on that. What would it be? What's the price tag? Would the public get in on that piece, that whole private-public partnership? Lynn Worthy covers the Kansas City Royals, Kansas City Star. He's coming up. Also, Cody Tucker's in tonight. Wyoming Cowboys taking on Boise State Saturday night in the Mountain West Game of the Week. We'll have it live on Fox Sports Rapid City. We'll get a preview. Laramie should be rocking this Saturday night. The winner of that puts themselves in position for a Mountain West Conference championship game, potentially. Wyoming, Boise State preview. Cody Tucker, 7220 Sports tonight. And Craig Maddox in tonight. He lost his voice over the weekend. Craig covers the high school football championships on South Dakota Public Broadcasting, and he was in the first day, lost the voice. I sent him a message, said, Craig, are we back online? He says, I'm good to go. We'll talk to Craig Maddox coming up. SDPB Sports, East River meets West River in our weekly segment live from Sioux Falls. We're packed on a Wednesday. Join us on the program if you want in today, 720-1067. Join the program there on the studio line, 720-1067. The Barron's Wilson text line also ready for you. Appreciate the text line. You guys can get in there, 720-1067. Direct text the show. We'll get your take on that. Okay, so this is a new study out today from fall 2022, which we're essentially wrapping up, as you can tell with our snow here in the Black Hills. So the sports season of fall 2022, and this got my attention. There's a couple of things that jumped out to me. And so I'm going to go down that road, get your perspective, see where we're at in this whole scene. Here's what it says. This is a big study done across the country of youth sports. And Utah State does it, Louisiana Tech, Team Snap. It's an app company, sports app company. They looked at what does it cost. Everybody's always wound up about the cost of things, right, these days. Everything's more expensive. We have the whole thing. So has inflation hit the youth sports scene across the country here in the fall? That's basically what they were looking at. And so the numbers that came out of this, I'm not sure I'm buying these numbers. I thought these numbers were going to be massive. The cost of youth sports. You hear about the youth sports industry. $19 billion is the NFL. You know what the youth sports industry, it's like 25 to 30 billion. 25 to 30 billion a year. So you're starting to think, what is the average family paying for their son or daughter to play youth sports? Soccer, basketball, volleyball, softball. I mean, the list goes on. Wrestling, hockey. I mean, there's a list here. And you parents, you're in the middle of this. And so I wanted to know, okay, I'm interested in this study right away from Team Snap, Utah State, Louisiana Tech, Aspen Sports. What does it cost the average family to have one child play on a traveling team? That's essentially what we're looking at here. What the average? Do you know what the average is? The average says, this new study says, parents pay an average of about $2,000 per year for one child on a sports team. $2,000 a year. Now, I think some of you might say, wow, that's quite a bit. Some of you might say that, $2,000. I mean, what are we doing? Are we just playing in games around here, tournaments around here? Not necessarily. And try and take a look at the Rapid City sports scene. There's tournaments, there's games all over Timbuktu. I mean, you're going all over. $2,000. That's all in cost. Registration, tournament fees, the travel. I mean, that whole thing. That's what this study says today. Parents of youth sports right now in the fall 2022 say, yeah, they looked at it, they break it down. The average cost for that one child in their primary sport there is about $2,000 a year. As I said, some of you say, well, maybe that's quite a bit. Would you say that if you're listening to this program, when you think about the cost, you think $2,000 a year is about the cost right now when it comes to having a kid playing? I just went through some of the sports, soccer to basketball to hockey to softball. Think about what where you go, what you do, the registration, the piece, the whole thing. And I'm here to tell you, I'm in on that as well. So I have a little bit of experience from this. I'm living that busy life, so to speak. I'm going to tell you, it's more than $2,000. And I know an average is an average. Okay, this is the national average. So maybe there's some really good community-based stuff and really good cheaper stuff across the country. And some families are like, yeah, we're in on this and we're fine. We only play in this tournament and that tournament. I'm here to tell you, $2,000 seems low to me. So I wanted to ask the audience today on Fox Sports Rapid City, let's just go South Dakota. We're in this zone where we have to go to tournaments all over the place. I go Billings, I go Denver, I go Sioux Falls, Kansas City. I've heard people going to Omaha just a couple of weeks ago for basketball, going to Omaha. Okay, so let me ask you then, if I think that's low, just looking at my bank account, a little personal experience. Let's not get too much into my checkbook, but I think that's low. What do you estimate the all-in total cost would be per year for a kid to play on a team? Some sports are different. Some sports are more expensive. And then I'll break down the study a little bit more. This study says nationally the average is about $2,000 a year in fall 2022. I think it's way more than that. I think it's quite a bit more than that in South Dakota. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Well, I had kids and grandkids play traveling sports, mainly soccer, but I also have a grandson that plays lacrosse.
Okay, yep.
Lacrosse particularly because there aren't any other teams around here to play. I mean, their league consists of Fargo, Grand Forks,
yes, I've heard
Aberdeen,
that. Yes,
Sioux Falls, Bismarck. I mean, there's nobody close. And that fee also includes, you got to remember this too, that fee also includes, you should know this, that fee also includes use of indoor facilities in the wintertime for practicing. Yep. Obviously, the tournament fees, the meals, the share of the gas money for the travel to the various places. And as you know, we travel to Omaha, we've traveled to Blaine, Minnesota.
Of course.
There are
so you start adding this up, $2,000 a year? I'm not buying that.
Well, that's probably accurate for the child, but not for the parents. That's all. You got to add the parents and the other kids in the family.
Supposedly here supposedly they said, well, it's travel cost and there's registration and there's this. Supposedly that's the all-in cost is $2,000. No. I'm saying, when I go to this, I'm counting gas, I'm counting hotels, I'm counting all of that stuff. And I'm telling you, I brought that number. I'm telling you, I think that number might be over 4,000. I'm serious.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you count the family, sure. Now the 2,000 might be accurate if it's just the player and their fees and costs. That's probably pretty accurate. But again, the more kids in your family, the more it is because your kids all got to eat. You got hotel rooms and meals. Look at the gas prices now. Usually not going too close to. I mean, we do go to Gillette. That's not that far. There's some indoors in Spearfish, but generally, you're going to Omaha and Minnesota, and we've gone to Billings, Denver.
Yes, yes. It adds up in a hurry.
It's easily double that. 4,000 is probably minimum. 4 to 5 is minimum for a family of 4 kids and mom and dad.
I got somebody
And
that
the-
just
and the child.
replied here. Said, I have softball travel player, $10,000 a year. Softball
Wow.
travel, $10,000 a year.
They must be going to a lot of tournaments.
Wow.
Well, in softball, you're there probably a little bit longer, maybe an extra day or two than you might for a soccer tournament. But yeah, it depends on the sport. You know,
I'm with you on it. I think it's double what this study says. But maybe they're looking at
yeah.
cities. You got to remember, some of these kids in cities, they don't have to go outside of KC, outside of Denver. So some of those, they're fine.
When I played Legion ball in Omaha, we only ever left towns. We had 30 Legion teams right in Omaha,
It's a
so
big
we never had
difference.
to go anywhere. But
Big difference for us in South Dakota. I believe that. Thanks for getting in. I appreciate that. That was my question. I think this national study doesn't reflect just here in Rapid City, for example. And I know Rapid City sports teams, we're going all over the place. I mean, we're going all over the place. Listener text coming in on the hockey side. Nate, you're right. About $2,000 per kid. We have 2 kids playing hockey year-round and both go to private schools. I need to start selling my blood. Yes, yeah, I know. I haven't even broken this down, right? As I was looking through this study today from Louisiana Tech, Utah State, Aspen Sports, they looked at it for fall 2022. They were trying to look at the cost, of living and the cost of youth sports and how families go through that. And I find this interesting. I'm going, how I go through it is I don't even look at my statement. That's how I go through it. Just pay the deal and move forward. But then I started breaking it down for the show today, and I'll just give you a little sense, okay? Going to this tournament, let's say 3 tournaments in the fall, let's say 3 tournaments in the spring. Let's just say that. I go to 3 tournaments in the fall, 3 tournaments in the spring. Where this ends up, my estimate is just those tournaments takes you over $4,000 a year. Just those tournaments. And I'm throwing in the hotel, the tournament fees. I didn't even really add up going out to eat. Okay? I mean, we all have to go out to eat and, have a good time, right? We have to do that when you're out of town. And so I'm even being a little conservative there, like not adding on the bill, so to speak. But I just added those up. Just looking at it, tournaments that are played, 3 tournaments in the fall, 3 tournaments in the spring, you're over $4,000. The national average says, well, it's about $2,000 a year for a kid. I'm not buying that. I'm saying it's over that. Let me ask the question of the day and see where you're at. In South Dakota, what's your estimate? If you have a sense for this, what's your estimate of the all-in total cost for South Dakota parents for a kid on a hockey team, on a softball team, on a basketball team, on a soccer team, on a volleyball team, lacrosse, whatever? What's your estimate? Is the 2,000 national average that we see here today, well, that's about right, or is it more? I'm going to tell you from my side of it, I believe it's over $4,000 a year when you just look at it per kid. Honestly, because if you add it up double, some parents I see just going for 1 kid. I mean, let alone maybe you have 2, and that helps, right? Because you get double the fun, as we call it, right? But if you just have 1 kid, you got to go to this tournament, that tournament, all over the place. I still believe that estimate's getting into the 4,000 range. And then it begs the question, okay, who's in on that? Who's able to do that? How many kids are not able to do that? And I think that would make your head spin. I think ultimately when you think about it, who gets left off of that piece, it's probably a lot. Folks here in South Dakota, hey, you're working hard. We're all trying to do our best. We're trying to get through, and we're invested in the kids. We're trying to help them out, set them up for success. I'm a big believer in sports being a great platform for that. But it gets tough when you start seeing it, the cost. The cost, you start seeing it, how many kids are able to do that? Not all these places, like here, we don't have all these sports in the middle schools. There's no wrestling in the middle schools. There's no soccer in the middle schools. Now, I know you can't have every sport being introduced in the schools, but basically we have basketball, volleyball, football. That's really it, basketball, volleyball, football. And these other avenues, which is like, well, if you want to play this sport, you're going to have to be on this travel team, and you're going to have to do that. And the price tag gets hefty. I believe the estimate's over $4,000 in South Dakota for a parent of a child playing youth sports. I believe it's over $4,000. That's my take on it. What's yours? Question of the day. What's your estimate, all-in total cost in South Dakota for parents of a kid per year on a travel team? Here's the answers coming in. A lot of interesting votes. 52% in South Dakota say over $4,000 a kid all in. 45% say it's in that $2,000 to $4,000 range. And just 3% agree with the national average. It's about $2,000 in South Dakota. It's more expensive for us up here. Again, we can't just settle in and have all these teams. We don't have 200 teams in a 50-mile radius. We're on an island. We got to go to Sioux Falls. We got to go to Minneapolis. Oh, we got to go down to Denver. That whole thing. And that's how this sports model gets going. Listener text, are travel teams worth it for the child sport enhancement? Travel hockey teams can hit $5,000 a kid easily. Yet I'm not on the hockey piece. I'm not sure on that, but I do know they travel a long way too. Equipment, the price tag. And here's the thing I find interesting from this study on the Nate Brown Show. Here's the really interesting thing. In the fall of 2022, they asked the parents, has your child lost interest in sports? Okay, this is a question from one year to the next. Guess what? The more money a family has, the less interested their kid was in sports from one year to the next. Now, you answer that question for me. Why is that? I think we could discuss this for a long time. I want to know why that would be. So did you hear that? This is from one year to the next, 2021 to this year, 2022. They broke down household income. You've got to have the income. You got to have some income and able to take the kids to here and there. But the more money a family has, big six figures, whatever that, okay? They just looked at it this way. Over 100,000, 50 to 100,000, or under 50,000. The more money a family has this fall, the less interested their kid is in sports. And it went down the line. 34% of kids in households over 100,000 less interested in sports. Lost interest. 34%. Kids in that median income, 50 to 99, 50 to 100K, I'll say. 30% of kids lost interest. If you're under 50,000 in a household, only 21% of the kids lost interest in sports. The more money a family has, according to this study today, in the fall 2022, the more money you have, the less interested the kids are in sports now. Why would that be? And that's my second question of the day I want to get into today. I have a couple of reasons. Are they just not motivated? I mean, why play sports? Honestly, I mean, I just have some ideas in my head. Hey, okay, my family has a bunch of money. I don't really care. Are they just not motivated? Why play? Or is it the classic, I'm spoiled? Well, I don't want to. You want me to play? I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. Is that it? I think those are a couple of reasons. I do. Is it unmotivated? Is it spoiled? Honestly, that right there is a trend. The more money we have, the less interest my kid is here this fall. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
I would agree with you. It's when they got more money, they could the kids could do more things besides sports.
Yes, anything, right? I'll just do anything I want, right?
Yeah, and when you're low income, I was low income, so I killed to play sports when I was a kid. I was like, if I had a chance to get out of the house and go play sports, I was going.
I came from modest means, small town, Montana. We all played sports, honestly.
Yeah.
For
we all try to give our kids right now. We give our kids entertainment.
No,
and,
that's
and and I think it affects them. And you got more money, you could give them more entertainment.
That's really interesting to me, right? I mean, you have to have money to go to tournaments, yet if you have a bunch of money, the kids go, why am I playing?
That's another whole side story. This kid stuff is getting way out of hand. Way out of hand.
All right, buddy. I appreciate it.
See you later.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting. I'd like to. I could do a full show on this. I could do a full show on this study as I run through it. What were the age of the kids that lost interest in sports from one year to the next? We're talking fall 2021 to this fall 2022. The study from Utah State, Louisiana Tech, Aspen Sports Team Snap. What were the age of the kids that lost the interest in sports? Highest percentage, 6 to 10 years old. 29% of 6 to 10 years old lost interest in sports. Highest percentage that kept interest in sports, high school, 15 to 18 years old. And that's interesting. Maybe if you've made it that far, you're still, just like, well, I'm playing high school. I'm going to stick with it. That's interesting because we see high schoolers quit all the time too. But the 6 to 10 year old in one year to the next, and this study said the 6 to 10 years old, they lost interest the most out of any age group. So answers coming in on the question of the day, this info from fall 2022 in this youth sports study. The more household income a family has, the less interest their kids have in playing sports right now. Why is that? 46% of you say spoiled, they just don't want to. 46% of you say no motivation. Why play? There's just no motivation. It's like, I could do whatever I want. Kinda. Those guys kind of go hand in hand, I think. They're different, but the non-motivations not necessarily means you're spoiled. It's like, why? I could do whatever. 8% of you say the parents are too elite for sports. 8% of people say, not a very big one, but I put that option in there. The parents too elite. Why would we mess around with sports? Give me some caviar. I mean, are we playing sports? Are you a rockhead? A meathead? Yes, I am a meathead. I raised my hand. I've been a meathead my whole life. I'm not going to apologize to you elite parents that don't like sports. Listener text, video games 24/7. Listener text, people with more money can take bigger, longer, expensive vacations. They're going skiing, camping, boating. They take a lot of time for recreation, not sports. Interesting. Listener text, look at the professional sports makeup. Professional sports is mostly American dream story of poor to riches, middle or high class childs become professional sports star is non-existent. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, there's some of those guys, I'm sure, that have been to the best camps and the best this and the best that, and they made it all the way, right? A lot of the guys come from modest means, just grinding, working, and they're stars. They're the dudes. Interesting stuff today. All right, I got to jump out of this. We'll jump back into it later on. We'll jump into the NFL with Frank Schwab, Yahoo Sports NFL writer. Russell Wilson talked about his play this season. What did he say today? Next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Have you hit a pothole or curb with your car? Does your vehicle need an adjustment or have an alignment, shock, or strut issue? Black Hills Tire is your one-stop shop for complete automotive service and repair in the Black Hills area. Trust your vehicle with no one else but Black Hills Tire. Contact Weston, Denise, and the guys at Black Hills Tire, where honesty, reliability, and safety is their top priority. Black Hills Tire voted the #1 shop for automotive repair and brake repair and tire store in the Black Hills. Ask about their free pickup and delivery. Black Hills Tire. Check them out online at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind watch begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning and continues until 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. Snow likely tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows dip down to about 13. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. High of 15 tomorrow, chance of snow. 2 above tomorrow night, chance of flurries. About an inch of snow tonight. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 33.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. Today we are conducting the Haverman Estate online-only auction. Items are located at Coyote Flats, out west of the Hart Ranch. Several sections of scaffolding, tools, furniture, appliances, antiques, collectibles, including Red Wing Crocs. Also on the auction, a farm all-age tractor with a loader, 2 zero-turn mowers, a 2012 Dodge 1500 regular cab four-wheel drive pickup, 39,000 actual one-owner miles. Auction closing at 6 p.m. For more auction details to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Here's good news from Pro Auto Care if you're looking to economize your budget. Pro Auto Care can help you get more time and mileage out of your vehicle with regular maintenance and sensible, affordable repairs. Tom and his Pro Auto Care team will save you a lot of money without you having to replace your current vehicle. At Pro Auto Care, they find and repair small, inexpensive issues before they become big, expensive problems. Schedule an inspection of your vehicle now at Pro Auto Care. Open for business as usual at 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show just getting fired up on a Wednesday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show packed with some great guests across the board. Kicking it off with Frank Schwab. Covers the NFL, yahoosports.com. Find him on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. Frank Schwab in on South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Frank, thanks for the time. As always, I appreciate it. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
It's going good up here, man. A little too much snow at this time, but we'll be okay. It's that time of year. Okay, I know you're close there in Denver with the Broncos, and so I want to go with the Broncos right away. Russell Wilson had a press conference this afternoon. He hasn't said a ton, but today he says about his play, number one, first of all, I have to play better. I've got to find ways to make some more plays for us, more touchdowns. Focus on the little things. A lot of football to be played. That's what he said. A lot of football left. So Russell Wilson taking that on himself, there's a lot of discussion. Who really is at fault here?
You know, when he talks about a lot of football left, he probably means 2023, 2024, because Broncos can't get out of his contract till then. So there really is a lot of football left here. Look, there's a lot to be spread around. I just don't think that Hackett and Wilson are a good fit. For whatever reason, it's just not working. And they can't get out. Since they can't get out of Wilson, they have to get out of Hackett. And maybe it's unfair. Maybe it's just from a human side of it, it kind of stinks for Nathaniel Hackett. He was kind of just ripped apart right after the first game, basically, and he never really got off the ground and never. But if you're the Denver Broncos, you have to look at it this way. You have to say, again, you can't get out of the contract. You just can't get out of Russell Wilson's contract. Do you just run this back? You could never sell your fan base on it. I'm based here in Colorado, as you said. Fans wanted him fired in September. It hasn't gotten any better here. So I think that, that's going to have to happen. It would shock me if Hackett comes back for next year, barring like a 8-game winning streak down the season or something like that. And with Wilson, I don't know. It's the first time we've really seen him struggle like this. I mean, he's had games where he's been bad, maybe a couple games, but not a half a season like this. And he has to be, kind of wondering what's happening. He's not really not in an age where he should be done. I mean, he should have a few good years left. That's why the Broncos traded for him. That's why it seemed like a good idea at the time. So there's got to be just a lot going on in Russell Wilson now where he's wondering, like, what the heck happened? How do I get out of this? He seems to be pressing a little bit. And, to bring it full circle, though, I think the only answer here is they need a new coach next year. And they need the number one question when they do those interviews has to be, what's your plan to fix Russell Wilson?
See, that's the thing, Frank. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Is Russell Wilson now a bad quarterback? I don't know how he could be after 10 years of good play in Seattle and elite play at times.
Yeah. elite. I thought he was a Hall of Famer. I really did. Before this year, if you would ask me, is he a Hall of Famer or not, I would have said, yeah, he's done enough. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's been very good. I wonder, like, honestly, like if the Denver years go this bad, that probably ruins his Hall of Fame chances, honestly. Like, it's been that bad. So I don't know. Part of it is how his game has had to evolve. I mean, he was always a dual threat guy, not in the designed run type of way, but in the Fran Tarkenton, I'm going to scramble around and make something happen because I'm great at buying time and keeping my eyes downfield. And he doesn't have that part of his game anymore, so maybe he has to adjust to that. They've had injuries. I mean, that not to excuse all of his play, but the Broncos have had injuries around him. That hasn't helped. He's had injuries himself. That hasn't helped. So I just think it's all these things coming together for Russell Wilson. Do I think he's a bad quarterback? I guess I don't. I know he's had a great career for sure. That doesn't take away that, but it's hard to see where this goes from here.
Frank Schwab's on YahooSports.com talking NFL, starting with the Broncos. So Broncos-Raiders in Denver Sunday. Raiders are really struggling. I was told by Brandon Stokely, he said he thinks if the Broncos lost that you could see Hackett out of there then.
I don't, I know Stoke pretty well. I don't disagree with him necessarily. I mean, I don't know what it would take. It's hard to tell. This ownership is brand new. We don't know anything about them. They haven't really talked since the introductory press conference, basically. So we don't know anything about how they're going to handle adversity, how they want to go about this. But the ratings for this game would be a lot better if it was a loser leaves town match, right? Like McDaniels, Hackett, the loser gets fired. I mean, it almost seems like it's heading that way. Although Mark Davis, I guess he just him coming out and saying Josh McDaniels is doing a fantastic job this week was just a slap in the face to Raiders fans. I mean, how you could say a lot of things about Josh McDaniels without going there, and now you're just making your fan base mad. I mean, they know bad football when they see it, and they're playing terrible football. Denver fans obviously know Hackett's issues right now, so I think whoever does lose this game, it's kind of almost like at that point you're dead man walking for the rest of the year. Although maybe Mark Davis doesn't have the money to pay out Josh McDaniels, and that's why he's saying he's doing a fantastic job.
Do you buy that? No money?
I don't know. I don't. I mean, he is one of the more cash poor owners. I mean, and this is 1 year. Year one of McDaniels' deal. I had to pay Gruden too. So, boy, I don't know. I just. At some point, though, you have to just, if he's not your guy, you have to suck it up and just say, whatever costs it costs. I can't waste years of my life on this. But I think Josh might get a second year. I don't know if he deserves it. He's been a bad football coach, a head football coach for a while. I don't know. But definitely, if Hackett loses this game at home as a favorite to the Raiders, who can't beat anybody right now, yeah, it wouldn't shock me then at that point if we get news on Monday morning.
Frank Schwab on tonight, NFL, YahooSports.com. He's on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab. I want to go to the Vikings. Now, you're part of the national media, Frank. You do a great job. Vikings are not getting any discussion, hardly at all. I mean, people are talking Brady. They beat the Seahawks. Rodgers, hey, he won. He got a win over the Cowboys. Vikings are 8-1. They're the forgotten 8-1 team. Why?
I agree with that, and even you guys have legal gambling out there. Even I was shocked to see they were underdogs this week to the Cowboys. I get it, I do, but just seeing that for a team that just beat the Bills, and was that Bills win a little fluky? Of course it was. A lot of weird things happened in that game. You convert a 4th and 18, you recover a fumble snap in the end zone when they're just running around the clock. Things happened in that game that just couldn't repeat themselves. But you go on the road and you beat the Buffalo Bills. That validates what you've done. They're a good football team. I think they're well coached. I think that Kirk Cousins has always been underrated. Now, the truth is, though, do I really think this team can win a Super Bowl? And the answer is no.
You don't?
Not right now. I don't. I mean, look, anything can happen. I didn't think the Bengals were going to come that close as they did to a Super Bowl last year at this time of year, right? They were about 7-16 in December. So I can't say no because the NFC is not that strong. There's nobody the Vikings couldn't beat, theoretically, and they're probably going to host. They're definitely going to host at least one playoff game, and maybe they're the number one seed. But if they can get the number one seed, maybe, because then you're just 2 home games away from it. But do I really think that they could go on the road and beat the Eagles? Well, we saw that already this season, and they weren't anywhere near them. Do I think that they, even the Cowboys game, we'll see a lot about them on Sunday, right?
Yeah,
can they handle the Cowboys? Cowboys are a very good football team in my mind. Just because they missed a 4th and 3 in overtime doesn't mean they're a bad football team in my mind. So we'll find out more as we go along with the Vikings, but I'm stronger on them now than I was a week ago because that win over the Bills goes a long way. That is a good win. But can I get to the point where I'm like, this team will win a Super Bowl? Other than, hey, any team can get hot, and this isn't really good NFC or even a good NFL for that matter. Yeah, that applies, but I don't see this as a classically dominant football team or anything.
Are you with me on the 49ers being the team that will storm back here a little bit and be a factor in the NFC?
Yes, I say that because the talent's there, right? Like, we look at their depth chart, and it's like, wow, this team can turn their lights out in a lot of different ways, but I want to see it on the field. They have to at some point graduate from paper champions to being an actual dominant team. Even the Chargers are beat up as they are. The 49ers are hosting them, and into the fourth quarter, it's like the 49ers are going to lose this game. Like, they had to rally to win that game at home against a beat-up Chargers team. If you're that team we see on paper with Debo and McCaffrey and that defense and all that, you blow out a team like the Chargers. I want to see them beat a team 42-10. And then I'll say, okay, that's the team that everybody's touting as the team that's going to get hot and all that. And I understand every reason why. Their defense is, when it's playing at its best and healthy, the best in the league, I think. Their offense obviously has a ton of stars. Trent Williams, probably the best lineman in football. All this stuff comes together for the 49ers, but can we see them play like this once? It's been so rare for them to hit that top gear that I really am kind of holding out for that 49ers performance where they just destroy somebody, where I say, oh, okay, all right, there's the 49ers, they can win a Super Bowl, because it hasn't happened yet. But, yes, I absolutely understand why they're being put in that conversation.
I want to go one more. AFC North, will the Bengals make a run there, or will the Ravens get that done?
I just think the Ravens are the much better team. I think the Ravens are really, really good. I know nobody cares about the stat but me, but they have led every single game this season by double digits. That indicates to me a level of domination that you need to go win a Super Bowl. I like everything they do. Their defense is looking a lot better. They traded for some, Roquan Smith is going to help them. They got some guys off injury, so they got some reinforcements there. I just really respect this Ravens team and John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. I think they end up winning that division by a sizable amount. Nothing against the Bengals either. I think the Bengals are a solid team, but I just think the Ravens are. I came into the season very, very high on them, and yeah, they blew 3 games. I mean, there's no getting around that. That wasn't ideal by any means. But when you look at the body of their work, if they had just held on to 2 of those leads and they're 9-1, we'd be having a lot different conversation about the Ravens right now.
Frank Schwab in today. Find his work at yahoosports.com. Talking NFL on the betting side as well. Yahoo Schwab on Twitter. Frank, always great. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. Good stuff. Frank Schwab kicking us off on a Monday. yahoosports.com. On Twitter at Yahoo Schwab, national NFL writer for Yahoo Sports. He says the Vikings are getting disrespected. They are getting disrespected, but can't quite have them in that Super Bowl conversation. Then he was like, well, I guess they could beat anybody. Yes. But he admitted the national media, even like himself, is like, yeah, the Vikings they're good. Nobody's talking about it. I mean, I think that's okay, by the way. From my standpoint, I'm hoping, hey, I don't root against the Vikings at all, right? You know this. My brother has been a Vikings fan for life. A Vikings fan. Anthony Carter, Keith Millard, Studwell. I mean, we go back. Wade Wilson. I mean, come on now. Come on. So I understand the Vikings plight here, okay? And the Vikings fans plight. I'm rooting for the Vikings when I'm not watching the Broncos. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I need your help more than you need mine. I need your support for my Broncos more than your Vikings need support. But I'm here for you. You guys got to help me with my Broncos. I need mental help, counseling. Russell Wilson said that this afternoon. And, I mean, he has to say it. He hasn't said it a ton. He has to say it. He said, number one, I have to play better. Because everybody's talking about this, offensive line, injuries, all these things. Nathaniel Hackett's play calling, to me, is a problem. But I want Russell Wilson to say, I got to play better. He has to play better, okay? I'm a Russell Wilson fan. I'm not a guy that dislikes Russ. A lot of people don't like Russ, and he's corny, and he's fake, and he's this. Russ is as good a person as you're going to find. And I'm with Russ. Positivity can win. But he's got to play better. I know Nathaniel Hackett's clueless. He's clueless. But Russell had to take it on himself today. I got to play better. Nathaniel's got to do better, too. It's just milquetoast offense. As bland as you can get. That's what it looks like. Coming right back with Craig Maddock on the Nate Brown Show. We've got him, SDPB Sports from Sioux Falls. I've got a question for Craig. Should we have more sports being offered in our middle schools for the younger kids as they get set? All the sports in high school are not offered in middle school. Why? Craig Maddock next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show, on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, sports fans, Tin Lizzy and BetMGM Sportsbook is the place for the best sports betting experience in South Dakota. That's where I go every time to watch the big game, make a play, and enjoy some great food, great service, and some awesome 4K TVs. Tin Lizzy and the king of sportsbooks, BetMGM, where you can bet on college football and the NFL. Don't miss a second of the action. What game are you betting on? Make your play at Tin Lizzy and BetMGM Sportsbook, Main Street, Deadwood.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Make a great investment this Black Friday. Renewal by Anderson's awesome Black Friday event is back by popular demand. Don't wait another day. This is incredible. 20% off every window, plus a Visa gift card for up to $1,500. No money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. You don't pay a dime until 2024. Make a fantastic investment. Act fast. This incredible offer runs from Black Friday, November 25th through December 9th only. But don't wait. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Anderson's Black Friday sale is back.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their #1 priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
Thanksgiving will be here soon, and I can't wait to spend the day with family and friends just catching up, playing games, and settling in for a big turkey dinner. This may sound weird, but my favorite part of a big turkey dinner is the gravy. I pour it on my turkey, potatoes, stuffing, and there's always plenty of Village Hearth dinner rolls to help soak up every drop. And whether you prefer classic white or wheat, 12 grain or sweet Hawaiian, a basket of warm Village Hearth dinner rolls is the natural choice for Thanksgiving dinner.
If you have a Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, BMW, Volvo, or any other high-end import, you might think you have to take your car to Denver or further for service. Hi, this is Martin from Al's D&I Repair. Don't plan your life around taking your car for service in a town 400 miles away. Bring it to Al's D&I Repair. Our technicians are trained to work on those complicated cars, and we also have the tools and equipment so they have everything they need to make sure your car is working perfectly.
Call Al's D&I to set up your appointment at 348-1447.
Hey, this is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. Don't miss our show weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now we'll send you back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome back in. Glad you're a part of the program today. Appreciate that. Hope you've had a solid Wednesday. It's always a great day in the Black Hills, right? Thought-provoking sports talk tonight on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Great guest lineup across the board. If you miss anybody live, you can't catch all 2 hours, 4 to 6. The Nate Brown Show podcast available for you where you download your favorite podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, the list goes on. Okay? The Nate Brown Show podcast available. We upload it each night. Lot to get to tonight. Craig Maddock's in. I wasn't so sure Craig was going to join us this week. I mean, I gave him a little time, okay? Gave Craig a little time, and he's back. SDPB Sports He, of course, broadcast the state championships, and he started on Thursday, the football championships, got into Friday for part of that, and then he was gone. I was like, what happened to my guy Craig Maddock? And he's back. He didn't finish out the state football championships, Craig, but you are back. What does a guy do, a famous radio and TV announcer, when he gets laryngitis? What does he do?
Well, you can't do anything, and it's crazy. You've been in the business long enough, and I've been in it for more than 45 years. There are a few times when the voice kind of goes, but wow, this one went quick because Steve Toom and I, last Thursday, we did the 9A and the 9B championship games, and then Curtis Riggs and myself, we started with the 9AA championship with Wall with a very impressive performance. But I knew right before halftime, I knew the voice was going. They had 2 more games to go, plus 2 more Saturday. You know what? I didn't want to do it. You know how stubborn we can be as broadcasters. Yes. And I thought it just doesn't sound good. It's a distraction, and I waved the yellow flag or the white flag, and I said, "Guys, get the backup. Get the guy out of the bullpen. It's not going to work." And certainly, I was off for 2 games on Friday, and was hoping, Saturday the voice would be back. But you know what? I sounded like I did when I was like 12, and was ready to hit puberty.
Cracking a little bit.
It was cracking and distorted, and it was awful. And so I had to bow down and say sorry. I can't go. So I apologize.
I know that's tough, man, because you always look forward to doing the state title games and the whole thing. I will say the broadcast team stepped in, did a nice job. Craig Maddock went down, but he is back. A little bout of laryngitis doesn't work so good for announcers. I've been there, doing play-by-play, and you're like, man, I'm grinding, and this isn't going to work. Okay, what did you think of the state football championships? I know you had to step out of the broadcast booth. I was talking around here. I said, this might have been one of the best years. I know there was a couple of games maybe not so close, but the Wall game, outstanding. Elk Point Jefferson winner, outstanding. What did you think of the weekend?
Well, the one I looked at, and you asked me this last week, which game was I looking forward to the most, and it was the winner and Elk Point Jefferson game, because the Huskies with a really good defense all season long, going up against a high-powered offensive winner, and just the reputation of the Warriors. And it was Elk Point Jefferson. They got the job done. Congratulations to them. That was a fun one. The AAA game between Jefferson and Harrisburg, it was a great first half. But, Jefferson just showed what they got, what they have. And they just have so many weapons. And tell you what, watch out for basketball. Watch out for them in basketball.
I've heard that.
I know the Jefferson boys basketball coach has been on his knees all season long hoping that none of his guys got hurt playing football. I think he's got 4 starters on the basketball team that were starters on football, so watch out. But overall, great attendance. It was a great event, and it was a fun time last weekend.
Craig Maddock on from Sioux Falls, South Dakota Public Broadcasting here on the Nate Brown Show, East River meets West River. I saw this national study came out, so I wanted to get your take on a couple of these things. I started my show with it. It's a national youth sports study done by Utah State, Louisiana Tech, Aspen Sports, and Team Snap, a sports app. And they looked at the trends, the cost, the whole thing for parents with youth sports. They say the national average, it's average and it's national, for one child to play on a travel team in the fall 2022, all in cost, registration, some travel, the whole thing, $2,000 a year. $2,000 a year. And I said, man, I'm in this game. I hate to break it to you. It's more than $2,000. I think here in South Dakota, it's a big, big number. We're traveling to major cities and going every which way. What would you estimate is the cost, Craig? You've been there before inflation hit, by the way.
Yeah, I have. In South Dakota, most of the traveling teams, they're not flying. Some of the basketball teams will fly to maybe Denver and maybe fly to Vegas for big events there. But for the most part, the regional travel, they'll go by car to Indianapolis. They'll go to Kansas City. they'll make those trips via car. But if you're flying, that number goes up big time, 3,000 to 4,000. You got to look at the major traveling teams, and I don't think we have any of those in the Midwest. Those are the ones that they're traveling. They're going airplane, so those costs are up. But for the most part, around the Midwest, around Sioux Falls, Rapid City, I would say 2,000 to 3,000 is about, yeah.
I don't want to break out my bank statement for you, Craig, but I'm telling you, it's 4 over. It's 4. It's 4,000.
The travel is what kills you, and then of course you get your hotels, and food, and is the whole family going? I mean, I was a family of 6, and there was no way, Mama and Dada were taking all the kids and baby all the way to wherever the oldest was playing.
That's why your kids got so tough. They just took care of themselves. Yeah.
So you know what? He went with another family, and so there was times where we didn't go, but. Some families, though, that's good for them. They take the whole family, make it a whole family deal, and so then the cost certainly is going to go up a little bit.
Okay, here's the other part out of that study I grabbed today. The more household income a family has this fall, the less interest their kids have in playing sports. And it went down the line. Over $100,000, less interest. $50,000 to $100,000 a year, a little bit more interest. Under $50,000, a lot more interest in playing sports. The more money my family has, the less interested I am in playing sports. Why?
Well, that is a great question. One that surprises me.
It did to me.
Because over the years, my kids have been on teams where, look at that family over there. They got a swimming pool and invited us over. Stuff like that, but it's hard for me to believe that it really breaks down that much.
Yeah, it was just this fall. It was just this fall. Yeah, it went on down the line. I make 6 figures and more. 34% of the kids not interested, and you go on down the line, it gets into the 20s. And I said, I just said, are we spoiled? We don't want to? What is it?
Well, it could be a lot of things. One could be, maybe they're doing their own travel with a family. Maybe their interests are just involved with something else. We all think about, the most fun I had as a kid was in the tub when I would pop the bubbles from the bubble bath. That was the most excitement had in our family.
Yes, I got it. By the way, I gave some options. I said, it might be spoiled. They just don't want to, don't have to. No motivation. Like, hey, why do I want to play? Why do I have to play?
That comes from mom and dad. See, a lot of that, I think, comes from mom and dad.
Yes.
Because, let's face it, kids, they want to be involved with stuff. And if we let kids stay on the phone all the time or do their video games, and we don't encourage them to get out there and play sports or be involved in extracurricular activities like band or chorus or whatever, they're not going to do it unless they're encouraged to do it at a young age. And so that could be a part of it, too.
Last question for Craig Maddock, STPB Sports, Sioux Falls, before he gets laryngitis again. I don't want that here on this program.
I got state volleyball starting tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Get ready. That's right. Okay, last one. Should middle schools offer, because I'm talking about this travel sports and the cost and stuff, should middle schools offer more sports? Now, that's a hard question because the budgets are tight. So this would have to be a change in, like, middle schools here, we only have basketball, volleyball, football. Like, that's it. And high schools, you offer this sport and that. Should middle schools offer more sports to get kids involved that can't be a part of the club aspect?
Well, that's tough, Nate, because it comes down to money. Because you got to pay someone to be the coach. You got to have an assistant coach. You got to be involved with travel. Excuse me. So it comes down to money. We know that the high schools don't have any money, and certainly the middle schools don't have either. And so I think what you got to do, you got to pick the sports that is going to generate the most interest. And maybe it's not football and basketball. Maybe it's going to be other sports. I mean, let's face it. There are a number of other sports that are where there's a lot of attendance, like bowling, lacrosse. Other sports, but you know what? The most popular sports are going to be football and basketball. And if you're going to try to go the niche sports, such like, gymnastics, I mean, we just don't have the participation rates when it comes to some of the lower sports, the lower attended sports. And so what you got to do in the middle school level, you got to do the sports that are the most popular, where the most interest is from those kids.
Yeah, I got you on that. Craig Maddock in tonight, South Dakota Public Broadcasting, getting set for the state volleyball championships.
Here, I thought you wanted me to talk about Rapid City Stevens and their chance against Washington.
I love
tomorrow.
that, by the way.
I've been working on it all week.
What do you think? Stevens made a little run here.
Well, they made a great run because Roosevelt, really, the way they played in the Sodak 16, they should have beat Stevens. They were up 2-1. They were leading in the fourth set. And then Rapid City Stevens woke up and were dominant the rest of the way, winning in 5 sets. So maybe that momentum will help them against the top seed tomorrow.
Okay, it's going to be a tough road, I know that, but a nice run. We'll see how it goes. You can watch it, South Dakota Public Broadcasting, Craig Maddock ready to roll. And I saw you had a new in-play podcast.
Yeah, it's Anita Beck, one of the all-time winningest coaches. In fact, number 2 all-time. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll find out that she admits she is an awful volleyball player. Nobody would pick her up on any team, whether it's a high school team or a sand volleyball team.
But a great coach.
But a great coach, and she talks about what she did at Arlington. I hope you pick up the podcast wherever you pick up your favorite podcast, of course, right after the Nate Brown Show.
Yes, right next to that is Quality Entertainment, the Nate Brown Show and In Play. Craig, always good. Enjoy volleyball. Keep that voice healthy.
Thanks, Nate. See you.
All right, appreciate it. Craig Maddock on South Dakota Public Broadcasting, live from Sioux Falls. Craig getting set to do the state volleyball championships. Couldn't quite last through the football championships. A little laryngitis. And then I caught he was starting to struggle a little bit. I don't want to take him out of this thing. I mean, the Nate Brown Show's not that important, Craig. Keep that voice healthy. Good stuff. Listener text coming in. They do have wrestling in the middle school. That is right. I was seeing that. So football, wrestling, boys basketball, girls basketball, volleyball. Those are the sports, I do believe, right? So those are the sports. One of the big ones is soccer. That's one of the big ones that's not in schools. It got into high school here years ago. It was club. Then they sanctioned it. So you wonder, will soccer break in the middle school level? That's interesting. All right, Lynn Worthy is next. Lynn Worthy is the Kansas City Royals beat writer. The Kansas City Royals are in the news today. How much would a new stadium cost? You know, Kauffman Stadium, it's an all-timer. The Royals might want a new stadium. Would it cost the taxpayers? What's the price tag? Lynn Worthy from the Kansas City Star with details.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
Today on Hey Culligan, buy to save. Here's a text from Devin in Denver. Hey Culligan, I'd love a water softener, but I don't want to pay for it. Devin, I can't help you there, but a Culligan high-efficiency softener can help you save oodles on energy and detergent, so the savings can be even greater than the cost. And I'm getting a mind-blown emoji followed by, yes please. Devin, the savings are already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Hey Cobbler and Raider fans, you can now show your school spirit and earn money for your booster club. It's easy to get your Raider or Cobbler custom designed debit card today from Highmark Credit Union. Simply open a Highmark free basic checking account and get your Raider or Cobbler debit card. Plus, each swipe will earn money for your booster club. Show your school spirit and support the Raiders and Cobblers with a custom designed debit card. Visit HighmarkFCU.com.
Are you ready for new windows? Renewal by Anderson's windows are the best you can get, and their awesome Black Friday event is backed by popular demand. This is an incredible offer, and you don't have to get up early or stand in line. You don't even have to wait until Black Friday. You can book your estimate right now. Listen to this. Renewal by Andersen is giving 20% off every window. And depending on how many windows you get, you'll receive a Visa gift card for up to $1,500. Imagine getting awesome new Renewal by Andersen windows and a lot of spending cash for Christmas. It's fantastic. The financing offer is so great. No money down. No interest or payments for 18 months. Think about that. You get your new windows now, and you don't even have to make a payment until 2024. Wow. It's a very limited time offer, though. It starts on Black Friday, November 25th. It runs through December 9th. Please do not wait to book your free estimate right now. Just go to RBARapidCity.com. That's RBARapidCity.com to set up your free estimate. Renewal by Andersen. Make a great investment this Black Friday.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live on a Wednesday into the Drive at 5 rolling tonight on Fox Sports Rapid City. Thought-provoking sports talk, your sports, your show. Great guests across the board. Let's go to Kansas City. Hey, Kansas City, man. They have Kauffman Stadium, legendary stadium. You got the waterfalls. I remember watching as a kid. It's like, man, this is the real deal. Kauffman Stadium. The fans down there love tailgating. Okay. Go to the K. And now there's some interesting discussions going on. Will the Kansas City Royals go downtown with a brand new stadium? Lynn Worthy covers the Royals. KansasCity.com. That's the Kansas City Star. KansasCity.com. Lynn Worthy on tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Lynn, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Nate.
Well, thanks for your time, man. So let me, I talked about this. Kauffman, fans have some great memories, I would expect, right? I have some Kansas City fans up here, and they say, man, went to Royals games and the whole thing. How much do fans like Kauffman Stadium? It's old. How much do fans like it? Start there.
Well, I think just the fact that it's been around as long as it has. I mean, they just played the 50th season in that ballpark, so just by virtue of, its longevity, you've got, generations that have memories there, from around this region, whether it's, kids who were maybe watching the 2014 and 15 runs or folks who go back to, 85, and people who were around when they first started playing, when it was back still called Royal Stadium. And then it's gone through its different sort of renovations, like you mentioned the fountains and just how, the backdrop has changed through the years and the decades. So I think there's a lot of different aspects to that, just in terms of, it's been around so long, people have had a lot of different experiences with it, or had chances to have so many experiences with it, and seen it sort of evolve in a certain sense.
Okay, I'll ask you, the plan here is going to be discussed. I think there's a lot of opinions being floated out there, but this week, CEO of the Royals, Chairman CEO John Sherman said, we got plans. We want to go downtown Kansas City, $2 billion stadium, and the reaction so far has been what?
Well, I think, it depends on who it is that you ask. I mean, I think there's, people who from the beginning have been proponents of moving downtown, like the idea of a downtown ballpark, of, having it in a central location, a place where, you can have the walk-up as opposed to, where the two stadiums are now, where they're sort of removed from, the metro area, and they're in this, area. It's the complex with Arrowhead that's, just really a parking lot, lots of open space, great for tailgating. It's, it's a unique sort of setup there, but it's not a central location where you can just sort of get to it, or just sort of wander into a baseball game when, you play, 81 home nights a season. But then there's people who will, as soon as you mention from downtown, they'll start pointing to parking and traffic and what are you talking about? And so it depends on who you ask. I mean, you look at, I think it was later on last night where, Frank White, who, not only helped build the original stadium, but then was a Royals Hall of Famer, in that Royals uniform, and who is now the county executive, basically in his statement talked about how he, was a really impressed with John Sherman and the things he's trying to do, and seemed like he was, voicing support, but then also almost sort of said, well, pump the brakes, because he said there's still a long way to go before we start talking about downtown baseball.
Okay.
So, so there's a lot of, there's a range. It depends on who you talk to. There's a range.
Okay, we're talking to Lynn Worthy, Kansas City Royals beat writer for the Kansas City Star, kansascity.com. The discussion is will the Royals get a brand new ballpark? The plan thrown around by the chairman of the Royals, John Sherman's $2 billion downtown entertainment district. Now this is going to be like, hey, he wants a private-public partnership. When people hear that, they say, okay, we're going to have some public support here. That's some dollars through taxes. But then I saw, well, no, nobody's going to raise taxes. What are we doing here?
Well, part of that, I think, is still to be determined, and part of that is also, I think, the wording, where you say, like in his letter, he said, nothing, they wouldn't be paying anything more in taxes than they're currently paying.
Yeah.
Well, there's things that have been put in recent years, whether it was, to help fund what was originally the Sprint Center and now the T-Mobile Center, the arena. Okay. Things that were put in place that, in theory, were in place for a certain amount of time. If you keep those in place, you're already paying it. So you can say you're not paying anything more.
Okay.
But you're also not eliminating those things that were put in, years ago. So it's not inaccurate. It's just a matter of like, okay, well, there's things that are being paid as far as taxes, or whether it's the tourism taxes, the hotels and things like that. Like keeping those in place and shifting that money towards helping fund this would not be adding tax money, adding to the taxes.
So there could be an avenue. There could be an avenue there.
Well, but and then there's also still more details. I mean, that was another thing that even Frank White's statement mentions, like, well, you look forward to hearing more of the details, and because this Sherman's letter mentioned numbers for the first time, because he a year ago mentioned downtown stadium and exploring it, and every time since then he's had sort of certain talking points, but it was sort of some things were left vague. Now you have some numbers. There's still some vagueness. There's still plenty of things that still need to be filled in. But now he's actually talking about numbers like that $2 billion for the entire complex, which they haven't broken out what just the stadium would cost. I think that's purposely they haven't broken that out. But for the whole project that they're talking about with a whole district, that's what the $2 billion would be. So you're getting some more numbers as far as what the potential economic impact. That's what they're giving you. But there's still details and a lot of fine details and fine print to be sorted through.
Lynn Worthy on tonight from kansascity.com. It's the Kansas City Star, covers the Royals. Find him on Twitter at @LWorthySports. He's here on the Nate Brown Show. Last one, I was looking at the attendance, Lynn. Royals had bad attendance last year. I mean, and Major League Baseball in general did, just across the board. When it comes to attendance, engagement, investment, Royals fans, where are they at here with this team? Would a new stadium make a big difference?
Well, as you pointed out, I think there's a lot of places in Major League Baseball where attendance has been down, in recent years, whether that's also coming out of, the COVID years. So attendance, it's not just a Royals thing. I think it's a baseball thing. Now, at the same time, I think, Royals will also point to whether it's, TV numbers and say, well, there's definitely interest, there's definitely, fan engagement, whether it's in ticket sales or it's in TV, like people are still paying attention. I'm sure they would point to that and say there are definitely people paying attention. And then, I don't think it was by accident that he also mentioned sort of the changes they've made this offseason between changing, the at the top of the the baseball operations with J.J. Piccolo taking over for Dayton Moore, hiring a new manager. I think that they're also trying to push that there's things coming in the future. So obviously they're already starting to try to push that sell job. As far as like, okay, there's going to be new things coming. There's going to be new people in charge, trying to push this, bright future.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, part of that, also telling people now, let's get on board for a new ballpark, too, downtown.
I got you. New chapter of Kansas City Royals baseball. I think there's a lot of details to come. That was just announced from the Royals CEO, Lynn Worthy, covering it. Follow him on Twitter at LWorthySports. This might be a while anyway on a new Royal Stadium, but the estimate with everything, $2 billion, and the plan, put it downtown if they can get that done. Lynn, thanks for hopping on Fox Sports Rapid City. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Lynn Worthy on the Nate Brown Show, Kansas City Royals beat writer for the Kansas City Star, kansascity.com, where you can find his work. Good stuff. So here's the deal with these public-private partnerships. I'm a believer in those. I'm a big believer in those. I believe you need investment. You need buy-in. I think you need some of the folks that are in the private sector. They got to go in. I believe the public side, we need to go in. I believe that when it comes to economic impact. Because they say, well, if we have a new stadium, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. Here's the deal. If you use some public money, like the Vikings did US Bank Stadium, okay? If you do that, then I don't know how the owner of the team, whether that's the Kansas City Royals in this instance, why do they get all of the benefit from all of the other stuff? What these owners do. What do I mean by other stuff? The Royals want to do a ballpark and restaurants, shops, office spaces, hotels, apartments. So that's the giant plan the Royals announced today. A $2 billion stadium and entertainment district. So I don't know if the public and all that stuff's like, do we got to give in? We got to give how much now to the owner, to the Royals entertainment district? Well, yeah, well, that helps too. I know it's helping those guys. I mean, who's benefiting from the housing, the hotels, the office space, the shops? That's the type of stuff where you have to iron out the fine details, the fine print. I'm not a big believer in a lot of these baseball owners saying, hey, I'm going to do this new stadium, and then we kind of have this, these other things in this whole giant area downtown, and that's all mine too. Well, public-private development for a stadium, for a team, for the economic impact of the games and the whole thing, to have the team in your city, that's one thing. The extra stuff is like, okay, who's going to benefit from that stuff? That's what I always want to know, okay? I think that makes a difference. Into the Drive at 5 tonight on a Wednesday. So I've got a discussion with you here. I got to have it. Nobody's following this very closely. I don't know. Maybe it'll all go smoothly tomorrow. Maybe this will go smoothly. But this is a big vote in the state of California for college sports tomorrow. This is a big vote. 26 people are going to vote on this thing tomorrow. It could really change what we think is going to happen in college football. Next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
Make a great investment this Black Friday. Renewal by Anderson's awesome Black Friday event is back by popular demand. Don't wait another day. This is incredible. 20% off every window, plus a Visa gift card for up to $1,500. No money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. You don't pay a dime until 2024. Make a fantastic investment. Act fast. This incredible offer runs from Black Friday, November 25th through December 9th only. But don't wait. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Anderson's Black Friday sale is back.
Never ends.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson, McPherson Auction Company. Today we are conducting the Haverman Estate online-only auction. Items are located at Coyote Flats, out west of the Hart Ranch. Several sections of scaffolding, tools, furniture, appliances, antiques, collectibles, including Red Wing Crocs. Also on the auction, a farm all-age tractor with a loader, 2 zero-turn mowers, a 2012 Dodge 1500 regular cab four-wheel drive pickup, 39,000 actual one-owner miles. Auction closing at 6 p.m. For more auction details to bid and buy, go to McPhersonAuction.com.
For nearly 100 years, Connex has been providing the know-how and materials to help their neighbors grow. Through partnerships with builders, homeowners, and contractors, Connect Home Centers have impacted our communities, making them stronger and safer through support of local organizations and neighborhood beautification projects. Improving the quality of life for others is important to us. We are Connect Home Center, your hometown lumberyard lending a helping hand in building our communities since 1928.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season, to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season, to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting heard weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. Welcome in to the Drive at 5, driven by Summit Automotive Group. When it comes to pre-owned vehicles, they have the selection right now. Cars, SUVs, trucks. Maybe you need something to get ready in the snow. Are you ready yet? The snow's here. Check it out, summitautogrp.com. Start there and then experience the Summit difference. You're going to experience none of the high-pressure sales gimmick stuff. Stacy and Matt will treat you the way you need to be treated. They want your friends and family to keep coming back. SummitAutoGRP.com. The Summit difference. Car buying truly built around you. The Drive at 5 featuring Cody Tucker tonight over in Laramie. Cowboys Boise State showdown. What am I going to bet Matt Kearney? What am I going to bet him? Matt Kearney, producer of the Nate Brown Show, the famous Matt Kearney, is a Boise State fan. He's like the passionate Boise State fan. We're going to have to bet something. He texted me earlier this week. He said, you can't get crazy. Don't get crazy. Well, what's crazy? I am crazy. We'll talk Cowboys Boise State Saturday night showdown in Laramie for the Mountain West lead. The Mountain West lead. John Bryce is on the way, national college football writer for footballscoop.com. I want to talk to John Bryce next about this story that I'm going to get into right now. So this is under the radar. But there's a vote happening tomorrow with the California Board of Regents. I find it very interesting. What it's about tomorrow is UCLA's move to the Big Ten. Okay, you heard this. You know, we've talked about it on this show, meaning before. UCLA and USC, they're going to go to the Big Ten, right? So this news broke after you heard Oklahoma and Texas are going to go to the SEC, and then this conference realignment was going on, and then that was the next one. The dominoes to fall. USC and UCLA, we're going to the Big Ten. Well, guess what? USC can do whatever they want. Private school, they just make it happen. You're good to go. UCLA is under the California Board of Regents. Okay? The whole university public system there. And so tomorrow, the 26-member Board of Regents, which presides over all University of California schools, they will discuss whether they're going to vote for UCLA's departure from the Pac-12 or whether they're going to block UCLA from going to the Big Ten. The ruling will be a culmination of meetings, public statements, some of which have come from the board's chair. The board's chair is the governor. Okay? So here's what they're trying to determine. Okay. UCLA, how are we doing in the Pac-12? Fine. How would we do in the Big Ten? We would be richer. Okay? Don't get lost in anything else. Like, there's a big meeting tomorrow, 26-member Board of Regents. They're going to talk about UCLA. Are they going to let them go or not? USC, they're like, okay, we're out. We're gone. This is if UCLA is going to decide, are we going to stay in the Pac-12 without USC? Or are we going to get richer in the Big Ten? But honestly, there's people actually discussing this. The New York Times just pointed out today that tomorrow's meeting, quote, only a handful of members of the Board of Regents realize the language of big-time college athletics. What does that mean? I mean, that means UCLA's move to the Big Ten could essentially be blocked by a group of folks who maybe don't have any idea how Power 5 athletics kind of works, like media rights, dollars, rivalry. I mean, it's like, hey, USC's going to go to the Big Ten. What are we going to do? Some of the 26-member board, I would assume these guys are academics, right? I mean, these guys are smart. You're on the University of California school, the public school board, university board. But I'm telling you, I've been in some of these board meetings, okay? I've just been to a lot of board meetings over my career in various places. There are some folks that are super smart. They get the big picture. And I've always said, on the sports side, I don't know. You catch some of these guys, and they're smart academically, but then you throw in the sports stuff and the media rights stuff and the big picture, and hey, it's the front porch of this university, and they get caught up in, like, research grants and stuff like this. I get it, guys. I get it. It's university, it's research, all of this academic stuff. I get it. This feeds the bulldog. UCLA football feeds the bulldog. And I'm telling you, there's some folks, I've come across them, they're on boards and whatever. It's like, what? Well, what about this? What about that? It's simple tomorrow. UCLA board, or the 26-member board, talking about UCLA, University of California Schools. It's simple tomorrow. The money is going to flow. It's going to be upwards of 70 to 90 million in media rights alone. 70 to 90 million. UCLA, I've seen here in reporting, they have a $103 million deficit. They have a $103 million deficit. I guess those research grants aren't quite feeding the bulldog. But nonetheless, the big dollars are in the Big Ten, and the 26-member board, Cal Berkeley here. Also, the regents are in charge at Cal Berkeley. I'm not going to say it's like the easiest decision because, well, what are you going to do with Cal? They're stuck now, and UCLA's part of this, but USC's leaving. If UCLA doesn't do it, it would be a big mistake. Just from the money side, national exposure side, the USC rivalry side, the recruiting side, the whole university. What are they going to do tomorrow? They're going to vote for this, right? I mean, there's not, that's what New York Times pointed out. Only a handful of members understand the language of big-time college athletics. You got it. It's pretty easy language to understand. You know what it is? Money. John Bryce, I'll ask him, what's the real story on this deal and vote tomorrow? National writer for Football Scoop next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Great news from Dale's Tire and Retreading. We are now part of the Pops Tire Service Network. Same 2 locations, new name. Pops Tire is committed to the same great service that Dale's has provided Rapid City. Pops is one of the largest commercial tire and retread dealers in the country. Whatever your tire choice, make Pops your choice. We welcome this opportunity to support and grow with the Dale's Tire customers. Visit your local Pops for all your auto, light truck, commercial, and farm tire needs.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind watch begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning and continues until 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. Snow likely tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows dip down to about 13. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. High of 15 tomorrow. Chance of snow. 2 above tomorrow night. Chance of flurries. About an inch of snow tonight. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 32.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring. Keep making memories. Keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
All right, Rapid City, one of my favorite places is Pour 54 downtown. If you're looking for the best place to have a cold one with friends, maybe date night with your wife, or just go and watch the big game with some buddies in their great sports area upstairs, Pour 54 has it all. Plus 54 taps of beer from local and regional breweries, and it's self-serve. You don't have to wait around. You can get what you want right away. And the food's out of this world. I love the Detroit-style pan pizzas. Check out Pour 54. You'll love it. Downtown Main Street.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back into the Drive at 5 on a Wednesday, the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in 106.7 FM, 11:50 a.m. Also bring us up, foxsportsrapidcity.com, live stream on your phone. One click there, you've got us, foxsportsrapidcity.com. If you ever get out of radio range, we had people listening to us in, where was that? India, unbelievable. Hey, we reached that far. That's something. Good stuff on the Nate Brown Show on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show and watch us live in studio. You can find the stream at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. John Bryce tonight, college football writer, footballscoop.com. This is the wheelhouse stuff right here, man. College football rolling right now. John D. Bryce 1 on Twitter. John, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. I love visiting with you, and it's a fun and hectic and crazy time of year. So, again, appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. And in case we don't visit next week, happy Thanksgiving to you and all your great listeners.
Hey, same to you. I appreciate that, John. I want to ask you about this. Not a lot of people covering it, but it comes out here. There's a meeting tomorrow with the University of California Board of Regents, okay? Everybody knows USC and UCLA, where they're going to the Big Ten. Not a done deal from a paperwork standpoint. The Board of Regents meeting tomorrow, they're going to go over a ton of stuff. Public statements, research, the whole thing. And there's some reports saying some of these members don't quite get the big picture. Like, well, I don't know if they're gonna go with this. What do you see here?
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely have some people that are staunchly opposed to UCLA leaving the Pac-12, endangering the remainder of the University of California system, and also asking questions about what it does from a academic standpoint, a logistics standpoint, a time management standpoint. There are a number of questions to be raised and that will be raised tomorrow, but it seems like at this point in time their action is going to be relatively feckless, Nate. I just don't see how they can get the horse back in the barn or the toothpaste back in the tube at this point, as far down the road as it is, and the fact that some of these leaders involved in tomorrow's meeting also are already on record saying it's up to the UCLA president and their leaders to determine what course is best for them. So you have UCLA student athletes speaking out very definitively that they want to be in the same conference as USC, and saying we don't really care if we're in the same conference as Cal Berkeley. And that's because, look, USC is a few miles away. It's their chief rival. Everybody grows up. If you're a college sports fan, you grow up knowing about the UCLA-USC rivalry. I don't care if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan or a Notre Dame Irish fan or an SEC fan. You know about the great UCLA-USC rivalry. USC, as a private school, is not bound by any of these same constraints as UCLA. So I fully believe that USC was completely the ringleader in this from those two standpoints. But this is also the fault of the Pac-12. They've been teetering on being completely irrelevant. They've been teetering on dissolution for several years now. And this is a couple of schools saying, okay, we've tried to be good members. Now we're making a proactive move to do what's best for our individual institutions.
Okay, it's interesting. So you don't think there's some folks here or a number of folks on the 26-member board that would say, we're going to block this puppy. We're going to stop this thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're trying to block it, but they've already sent mixed messages. And again, I think overall it's just grand posturing, Nate. I don't see how they can stop it because they've already declared that the UCLA president has the right to act. Fiscally, they can't show a path where it's not the best move for UCLA fiscally. And anything short of, I know some student athletes have expressed their concern about time management, and UCLA already has the answers. They said, look, we're going to charter X number of more flights. And I know firsthand that that's something that Notre Dame battles with its non-revenue sports, is how many flights that they charter versus how many flights they are forced to take commercially, and they have to bus all the way to Chicago to get to a large airport when they don't charter a flight, whereas obviously USC and UCLA have one of the world's largest and busiest airports there in LAX in their backyard. So, again, it just seems to me almost we're in midterm season. We're a couple of weeks removed from the election, and it seems to me that we're very much in a state of seeing a bunch of political posturing.
Yeah, it's interesting. John Bryson, footballscoop.com, national college football writer, 26-member board, University of California Regents, meeting tomorrow on this UCLA move to the Big Ten. I said, hey, if they don't understand some of the language of Power 5 athletics or some of the dynamics there, some of these guys, I mean, these guys are smart, I assume, ladies and men. I mean, I get it, but I've been on around boards. Some people look at a lot of different things and they say, oh, this doesn't matter much. It's about money, John. I mean, when it's all said and done, is it not?
Oh, 100%. That's what I'm talking about. And that's why I say that all of this talk to the contrary will ultimately, in my opinion, dissolve, because you can't showcase a scenario where it's more fiscally beneficial for UCLA, either athletics or ultimately academics-wise, because of what the overall monetary value of this move is. You can't show me a picture where it's better for UCLA to stay in the Pac-12. And again, I point the finger. Look, George Kliavkoff has only been there approximately a year or so. It's not on him, but this is the residual of the Pac-12 having really tepid, poor leadership that was far too reactionary. What the Pac-12 has done as a league, Nate, and they're still doing it with their TV network that's just abysmal. It's a disservice to all the great student athletes in the Pac-12. What the Pac-12 has done is play prevent defense for the entire modern era of college athletics, but especially the past couple of years since you and I have been regularly visiting, and the way that the landscape has so seismically shifted. And the Pac-12 has been completely reactionary. All they've done is try to prevent anything catastrophic from happening, but they haven't proved capable of making a proactive move. They haven't been able to hit a chunk play on first down, Nate.
Yeah. Last one on this. Do you think, okay, let's say it happens, we're all set, UCLA, USC are for sure gone, they're gone. Will the Pac-12 be able to hang on to Oregon, Washington, or is that going to keep rolling?
No, I think they'll hang on to those programs for now, especially with what appears to be the very likely, if not imminent, addition of San Diego State, which is another major market. And for those programs, it represents travel costs that are extremely manageable to keep it geographically regional. But I don't see it happening yet. I think that we're at a stage where, big picture, college athletics is trying to figure out how to get the playoff to 12 teams by 2024. I think if you got people to talk to you off the record and candidly, they would tell you there are a few things more pressing other than maybe NIL regulation or guidelines or just some uniformity with NIL. I'm not sure there's much more important for college athletics as a whole than getting the football playoff to 12 teams by 2024 because of all the residual factors, because we're sitting here talking about what's going to happen with Oregon and Washington. Is anybody going to be able to stop UCLA? We know nobody can really stop USC at this point. So that's where I think things are, Nate.
John Bryce on tonight. Couple more. Let's get into college football, John. TCU wins, and Texas, just wasn't able to do much against them. TCU, that's the team that I'm interested in if they can hang on here in the playoff.
Yeah, Nate. I'm fascinated by TCU. I've been pretty vocal about Josh Heupel, in my opinion, being deserving of National Coach of the Year regardless of the outcome of the Georgia game, and not because my roots are in Tennessee, but because I know what a complete trash pile that program was in December of 20, January of 21. And so Dykes inherited a program that needed help at TCU, but a program that had challenged for Big 12 titles, that had played in the Rose Bowl much more recently than Tennessee and some of these other programs that played in the New Year's Six. But if TCU wins out, I think they will lock up the number 3 seed. And I'll tell you right now, if USC wins out and is 12-1, then your 4 playoff teams are going to be Georgia, the winner of Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, and USC, if that is the scenario. I would bet your paycheck on it.
Okay. Careful. By the way, if TCU loses, that's when the playoff gets murky, right?
Crazy town banana pants, as a friend of mine who covers Ohio State would say. So, yeah, then you bring crazy scenarios in, because if TCU loses, you wipe out the Big 12. They're not getting anybody in the playoff at that point in time. USC, in my opinion, still has a chance. Look, if USC takes care of UCLA this weekend, Notre Dame next weekend, and wins the Pac-12 championship, and at the end of the season it only has a 1-point loss on the road at a very solid Utah team that opened the season as a betting favorite for a team to make the college football playoffs, then again, USC is in. Georgia is going to be in regardless of what happens in the SEC championship game. But under that scenario, Nate, then I don't think LSU can beat Georgia, but let's say LSU beats Georgia. So you've got LSU then at 11-2, but SEC champion. You've got Tennessee at 11-1, not even a division champion.
Oh.
You've got the loser. Yeah, you've got the loser of Ohio State, Michigan at 11-1, but not a Big 12 champion. Then you've got chaos, and then again, circling back to what we've already talked about, you drive home the point that it's so critical to get this playoff expanded. This is the first year in a really long time, maybe in the history of the CFP, that you can make an argument they need an 8 to 12 team playoff this year.
Yeah, I'm with it, John. I mean, I know I want that. Some people have pushed back. I mean, I think it's going to be cranking. We'll see how quickly, right? Last one, John Bryce, football scoop. Ohio State, Michigan. I know we'll find out next weekend, but who's better there? Who's better?
Ohio State. Michigan has some things going for it. That game is going to be at Ohio State, obviously. I love the overall explosiveness of the Ohio State offense better than Michigan. And more importantly, on both sides of the ball, I think Ohio State has better team speed and more dynamic players. And so to me, I'm calling it right now. I fully expect Ohio State to win that game.
John Bryce tonight. Find him on Twitter. Follow him, John D. Bryce1, footballscoop.com, national writer, his work there. John, thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you, Nate. Take care, buddy.
Thanks a lot. John Bryce on tonight, college football writer for footballscoop.com. on Twitter at John D. Bryce 1. He's been in the game a long time. Good stuff. Good insight. Good insight. Listener text coming in. College athletics, teams, players, betting, imaging, all about money. Sad. All about money. Well, you know, more and more and more. I mean, more and more and more. You know, some people would say, well, now the players are getting a part of that money. And I understand that, but I think that model has become tedious. That model has become flawed. It's not name, image, and likeness like, oh, I get to run camps and I do a commercial and I get paid for my name, image, and likeness. It's pay-to-play recruiting. Well, you can't use the money to recruit guys to come there. Oh, good one. Well, those are the rules. Oh, when did we follow the rules? Yeah, so that whole model, it's, you know, the players are getting a part of the money. I'm good with that. I've supported that. But the way it's being done, the way there's no guardrails and you pay to play and you can recruit people behind, you know, closed doors and throw out this deal and that deal. I mean, it's wild. It's wild. There's no doubt about that. UCLA tomorrow, the 26-member board, the California Board of Regents meeting tomorrow on UCLA. It'll be interesting to see just what's discussed. I really, really doubt that the Board of Regents will say, yeah, the 70 to 80 million in media rights in the Big Ten and all of that stuff. Yeah, we're good. We're good. UCLA's got a $103 million deficit, okay? And so UCLA and the Big Ten riches, speaking of the money, I think that'll be finalized tomorrow, I think. Cody Tucker's on the way next tonight. Covers the Wyoming Cowboys for 7220 Sports. It's the biggest game in the Mountain West Saturday night in Laramie, Wyoming. I just asked Matt Kearney. He's the Boise State fan here. It's Boise State at Wyoming. The winner gets into the first spot in the Mountain West Division there. 1 week left then. Could be in that Mountain West Championship. And I asked my guy Matt Kearney, Boise State fan, like, what would be a crazy bet? And he said, okay, like a Wyoming Cowboy tattoo? He just gave me an idea. No, careful. Cody Tucker in next. 7220 Sports on the way from Wyoming.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
With home values rising in the Black Hills, a cash-out refinance loan from Black Hills Community Bank is a great choice. Thinking about home improvements or projects? Think about a cash-out refinance. Possibilities are endless. Consolidate your debt into one mortgage payment. Tap into the equity of your home with Black Hills Community Bank. Get started today using the online loan application at bhcbank.com or call to speak to a mortgage banker. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox, inviting you to make us your home for the NFL this season. We really wanted Rapid City to have a premier sports bar with great service and great food, and that's why we started the Skybox. We have 35 big screens, we'll show every NFL game all season long. Plus we'll have great specials for you to join us on Monday nights, Thursday nights, and all day, of course, on Sunday. The Skybox has the best food and the best experience for NFL football. Check us out on game days, and we look forward to serving you at the Skybox above the Firehouse in downtown Rapid City.
What can Elevate Performance do for your athlete? Brandon Drum, D2 lacrosse player at Mars Hill University.
I started going to Elevate Performance for problems with my knee, and after working with Britt, he identified some other issues that helped me prevent severe injury. Elevate's strength and conditioning program also helped me perform at a much higher level. My goal was to play college lacrosse, and I am thankful for Britt and Elevate for helping me achieve that goal. Elevate worked with me on a personal level and helped mold me into a stronger athlete.
Get your athlete started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Attorney General Mark Vargo here, talking about sweepstakes scams. We all want to receive that call that says we've won a sweepstakes, and scammers know this. If you receive a call or an email saying you've won, but you need to pay taxes by placing money on a gift card or by mailing cash, it's a scam. It is illegal to ask for funds up front for taxes, tariffs, or customs. If you've been victimized by this scam, please reach out to my Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio, sales, service, and recreation, this is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Stream us there at foxsportsrapidcity.com. Bring us up on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the channel. Get us over 100. Can we get over 100 subscribers, please? Please. I mean, my 8th grade daughter thinks I'm not cool anyway. Yeah, I got over 100 subscribers. Maybe I could start making some strides there. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Watch us live, and we're with Cody Tucker over in Wyoming. Hey, it's the showdown Saturday night, man. I didn't expect this, I got to say. Wyoming has unbelievable young team, brand new quarterbacks, never started. Wyoming had all these players last year, underachieved, and now the Pokes, they're on the verge of a Boise State showdown to get into the first place of the Mountain West on that side, potentially setting themselves up for the Mountain West Championship. It's in Laramie Saturday night, Boise State, Wyoming. 7220sports.com for the coverage, the analysis, the lead-up. 7220 Sports, Cody Tucker. Cody, good to have you, man. How are you?
Well, Mr. Brown, it's always good to talk to you, my friend. Who would have thought, man? You couldn't have put it more perfectly. Who would have ever thought at the beginning of the year, 15 guys entering the transfer portal. You get a quarterback who was a third stringer at a rival school. This team's loaded with youth. They're the third youngest team in the country. There's 3 seniors on this roster. Who would have thought, man? What a group of overachievers, or as Craig Bohl likes to call them, the blue-collar guys. So really good story unfolding over in the High Plains.
Okay, so I'm a big believer in chip on the shoulder, motivation. Nobody believes in us. I think that matters in sports. And so I think that's the Wyoming guys. It's kind of like, hey, we're young. We're, nobody thinks we're that good. The whole thing, Craig Bohl calls them blue-collar guys. But you also have to have some talent, because now you're getting into this thing. You don't just beat teams by luck. What has been the best thing about this team? I've noticed, Cody, it's like kind of different play calling. They still run it and 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but it feels like they got some balance, some different play calling to open it up at times. A little more unpredictable to me, but you tell me.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about this group, Nate, is they just, what Craig always says, they don't know what they don't know. They've gone down by double digits in the last 4 games, 3 of those games being on the road. They just keep plugging away and come back and win it. I mean, they're finding ways, and they're not getting down. And, we talk about this a lot every time I come on, how bad things were after they lost to Illinois in the opener, and how ugly it was, and how Andrew Peasley only completed 5 balls, and it was ugly. But man, they can tell you till they're blue in the face that they turned the page, but they just went out and turned the page. And I can't help but point back to that Tulsa game, man, that double overtime win in Laramie in the season opener, the home opener, just to find a way, once again, down by 2 scores. They find a way to stay in that thing, come back and win it. I think that was a crucial game. They just, when you're around this team as much as I am, Nate, they love each other. They care about each other. And a lot of teams say that, but this team really does. And you can feel it, and it starts at the top with Craig Bohl, who seems to be a completely changed man. And you wondered if you could teach the old dog new tricks. But he's been very impressive this year, and it's been great.
Wyoming 7-3. You'll hear the showdown Saturday night on Fox Sports Rapid City. We'll have Boise State, Wyoming on the Cowboy Radio Network live at 5 kickoff from Laramie. So they beat Colorado State barely. I mean, it was a tough go. Andrew Peasley, the quarterback, gets hurt, knocked out. Clemens comes in, this backup quarterback, Jaden Clemens, threw for a touchdown, ran it. So what's the story this week? Peasley's in concussion protocol. Do we know what the quarterback situation is going to be?
We don't know yet, Nate. I mean, they probably know, but we don't know yet. But, you got to be feeling pretty good about Jaden Clemens, right? And he kind of embodies this Wyoming team. He was a, walk-on at the University of Utah. He was a great quarterback in high school in Utah. And, Kyle Whittingham moved him right to safety, and he thought, you know what, I think I can play quarterback. And he came and took a chance on himself and left and came to Laramie, and he grinded it out. Last year he was the scout team quarterback, and now look. I mean, he came in and he didn't flinch, and put together a really nice drives and was a calming presence for the team in a hostile environment. And kudos to CSU. They played their tail off. But we don't know who's going to play quarterback, but I know that the fans have to be feeling pretty good that even if it's not Andrew Peasley, the sky is not falling. I think a lot of people really like the demeanor of Jaden Clemens, and obviously like what he did, bringing home the bronze boot for the 6th time in 7 years.
So here's the deal. Boise State's been the class. They've been the team. Yep. Wyoming's lost 5 in a row to them. They're 1-13 against them. I know the Josh Allen win. I remember that one. That was big time. But so Wyoming hasn't beaten Boise State. I just wonder if that's any part of a factor at all for this team that probably has no clue about that.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there, and that's a great point, Nate. I don't think they know, and I don't think they care. I mean, this is just a whole new ball game, and Boise State is they're really good. Don't get it wrong, but they're not the Boise State of old. I think they're starting to show they are. Talon Green is a really good quarterback.
Yes.
Craig Bowl compared him this week to a young Josh Allen, and after watching a little film on the cat, man, he's 6'6", throws across his body, can absolutely fire it. So I get where he's coming from. And, Boise State's Boise State. They're tough. And, it does sound striking when you say the Cowboys are 1-13 all time against them. But you go down the Mountain West Ledger, a lot of teams are lucky to have one win against them. I know CSU sure wishes they had at least one win against Boise State. So the Broncos have been doing it. Like you said, they've been the class of the Mountain West for a long time. So the Cowboys are definitely not the only ones in that boat to only have one win or less against the Broncos.
Okay, so here's my take on it. And you see them, you're around them. I think the Pokes might be able to run it on a little bit. I mean, they have to. The Wyoming has to run it against teams. So I think they might be able to run a little bit. Here's my deal on the defensive side Saturday night. This new quarterback came in when they got rid of their other guy, and he seems like he's another level. The Wyoming defense against that quarterback Green, I think that's a tough go.
Yeah, it is, but you have to this team came in, Nate, especially on the edge rusher side of things, they came in with 0 combined sacks in their careers coming into this season and lost Sebastian Harsh, who was easily the MVP of the offseason. Lost him. Keelan Cox, an Alabama transfer, another one of those defensive ends. He hasn't played yet this year. All these guys have done is rack up 38 sacks, and they lead the Mountain West in that category. So I think Easton Gibbs, talked to him this week, of course, middle linebacker. They really want to focus on keeping Talon Green in the pocket. Of course, it's easier said than done, but you have to like the Cowboys' edge rushers in this one. Boise State's really good up front, but they do have some injuries. They're beatable. They've given up sacks. Hank Bachmeier took an absolute beating during his 4 years in Boise, so Talon Green can scramble. That's the difference. So if they can keep him in the pocket, that's a big, big deal.
Big matchup Saturday night. We'll have it on Fox Sports Rapid City on the Cowboy Radio Network. Wyoming 7-3 against Boise State. 5 o'clock kickoff from Laramie. Cody Tucker on the coverage. 7220sports.com. Follow him on Twitter at 7220sports. Cody, good stuff, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Appreciate you, Nate.
Thanks for the time. Cody Tucker tonight from Wyoming. 7220sports.com. That's a big one. Winner puts themselves in first place on that side of the Mountain West to potentially go to the Mountain West Championship with 1 week left. Boise State, Wyoming, Saturday at 5 on your home for the Cowboys. Fox Sports Rapid City, live coverage here. Back with who's hot and who's not tonight. Wrapping it up on a Wednesday, this pro sports league just signed a streaming deal for $2.5 billion. Pro sports, streaming, $2.5 billion. Who's hot and who's not on the way?
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show.
At Ace Steel and Recycling in Rapid City, our goal is to make recycling your materials so quick, so easy, and so profitable that you'll become a lifetime recycler. At Ace Steel and Recycling, we buy, process, and ship scrap iron, automobiles, stainless steel, and aluminum, including cans and cast. We also buy insulated wiring, as well as copper, brass, lead, batteries, zinc, and tungsten carbide. Visit acesteelusa.com or give us a call at 342-8649. Ace Steel and Recycling, 2830 Eglin Street, Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A high wind watch begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning and continues until 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. Snow likely tonight, otherwise cloudy skies expected. Lows dip down to about 13, winds out of the northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. High of 15 tomorrow, chance of snow. 2 above tomorrow night, chance of flurries. About an inch of snow tonight. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 32.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, let's roll on a Wednesday night. Every night at this time. Who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. And the Pizza Ranch is big time. They support local events, local athletics, local business. 2 locations in Rapid City. Support the Pizza Ranch, especially on Wednesdays. Kids Night at the buffet. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. The Pizza Ranch buffet tonight. The buffet going till 8 tonight. It's dinner time right now. The Pizza Ranch, 2 locations, Rapid City South, and also Rapid City Pizza Ranch North, just behind Sam's Club. Get there, enjoy it. Kids Night tonight. Who's hot category. Now, this is interesting. I have become a soccer fan, okay? I've become a soccer fan. Kids play soccer. I've learned the deal, and I know it's not just people kicking a ball around like silly me. I guess I never grew up playing soccer. It's good stuff. I enjoy soccer. I'm ready for the World Cup, man. I'm juiced. I'm ready. Here's the deal with soccer today in my Who's Hot category. MLS, okay? Major League Soccer. Kind of growing, but I think still kind of down on the list, right? But MLS is growing. And how much? They just signed a deal with Apple TV. Do you guys have Apple TV? Apple and MLS signed a deal streaming all games across billions of devices. Apple paid MLS $2.5 billion for a 10-year deal. Historic media rights deal today. Apple TV will have all MLS games. Colorado Rapids, I mean, the list goes on, okay? 10 years, $2.5 billion. MLS will be on Apple TV, okay? So now I got to get Apple? Good Lord. Now, this streaming stuff, I mean, it's fine. Congrats, but I don't love Thursday Night Football. I don't love the Peacock stuff. Now we got Apple and MLS. All right, I guess I'll be getting Apple. MLS Season Pass is going to cost $14.99 per month or $99 for the season, but existing Apple TV subscribers can sign up for a discounted rate, $12.99 a month. Wait a second. I have Apple. I got to pay for Apple TV and I got to pay for MLS Season Pass? Okay, I'm ticked. In my Who's Not category today, the XFL. Did you know this? The XFL today, November 16th. They had their draft. They started their draft. Guys, the AAF, the USFL, the XFL. You're in the middle of the NFL season. We're in the middle of the NFL season. You think people are watching the XFL draft? Who got drafted today? Let's see. Kyle Sloter. Whoa, hang on a second. A Kyle Sloter sighting and former Alabama quarterback A.J. McCarron. But come on, guys. It's the NFL season. Don't start the XFL draft now. I mean, you're going to have a tough enough sledding as it is. Hey, thanks for listening. I appreciate that. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast if you missed tonight's show. Going up right now. And we're back tomorrow at 4. Here's the Odd Couple.
Spends his Sunday morning seated in the pew.